prison ship drifts through darkness while alarms scream across every hallway. Guards are running, doors are exploding, and prisoners are escaping in every direction. At first, nobody knows what caused the attack. Then the camera slowly moves through smoke and broken metal until we finally see him. Lobo sits calmly on a throne made from destroyed robot parts, spinning a chain in his hand like he's completely bored. Jason Momoa looks perfect in the role. Long black hair, massive muscles, glowing red eyes, and that fearless attitude that makes him look dangerous even when he smiles. One terrified guard whispers a single word, Lobo. The second that name is spoken, the music explodes into heavy guitars as Lobo charges forward like a monster unleashed. Within seconds, the prison becomes complete chaos. Lobo smashes through armored soldiers, throws enemies across walls, and laughs during every fight like he's having the time of his life. But the trailer quickly shows that he's not fighting for justice or trying to save innocent people. He only cares about one thing, the biggest bounty in the galaxy. Somewhere across the universe, an unknown force is destroying entire planets. Cities vanish overnight. Space stations burn. Millions are fleeing while governments collapse in fear. Nobody knows who is behind the attacks, but one rumor spreads everywhere. A mysterious figure is collecting ancient cosmic weapons powerful enough to wipe out civilizations forever. That's when Charlize Theron's character enters the story. She plays a powerful military commander leading the last defense force protecting the galaxy. Her introduction feels calm and controlled compared to Lobo's madness. While planets burn in the background, she stands inside a giant warship studying holograms of destroyed worlds. Her soldiers warn her that no army has been able to stop the attacks. But she already has another problem to deal with. Lobo himself. She knows he's violent, reckless, and impossible to control. Still, she also understands something terrifying. If the galaxy's greatest hunters are already dead, then maybe the only person strong enough to survive this war is the main man. The trailer then shifts into a darker tone as Christian Bale's villain finally appears. Instead of screaming or acting angry, he speaks softly, which somehow makes him even more dangerous. His face stays hidden in shadows while giant alien ships move behind him. He talks about how the universe has become weak, corrupt, and broken. According to him, destruction is the only way to create peace. Bale's calm delivery makes every line feel threatening. One short scene shows him standing on a dead planet covered in fire while thousands of robotic soldiers kneel before him. Another quick shot reveals a massive cosmic weapon floating near a collapsing star. The trailer makes it clear that this villain isn't just trying to conquer planets. He wants to reshape the entire universe. Back on the battlefield, Lobo finally receives the offer that changes everything. A bounty so large that even he can't ignore it. Every hunter, mercenary, and killer in space is now chasing the same target. But unlike the others, Lobo doesn't fear impossible odds. In fact, he seems excited by them. The next part of the trailer becomes pure madness. We see giant motorcycle chases across asteroid fields, brutal hand-to-hand fights inside exploding ships, and Lobo crashing through enemy armies without slowing down for a second. One funny moment shows him casually drinking while an entire space station explodes behind him. Another scene shows him chained inside a prison cell for only a few seconds before he tears the entire room apart with his bare hands. The second half of the trailer raises the scale from dangerous to completely insane. After surviving attacks that should have killed him, Lobo finally tracks the source of the destruction to a hidden world at the edge of the galaxy. The planet looks dead from space, covered in storms, broken cities, and giant cracks glowing with red light. Charlize Theron's commander warns her soldiers not to follow him there because every team sent to investigate has vanished without a trace. But Lobo doesn't care about warnings. He lands his massive space bike directly in the middle of the ruins and walks into the darkness smiling like he's entering a party instead of a war zone. Inside the destroyed city, the trailer slows down for a moment and builds tension. We see giant statues of forgotten rulers, abandoned weapons scattered across the ground, and symbols connected to ancient cosmic powers. Lobo realizes this is much bigger than a simple bounty hunt. Somebody has been collecting technology from civilizations that disappeared thousands of years ago, and now those weapons are active again. Suddenly, the silence breaks. Huge mechanical creatures burst through the walls and attack him from every direction. The action scene that follows feels massive. Lobo fights with chains, blades, guns, and pure strength, while heavy music blasts in the background. Even when surrounded, he refuses to back down. In one brutal moment, he jumps onto a giant machine, rips open its armor with his hands, and laughs while the entire structure collapses behind him. Back aboard the military flagship, Charlize Theron's character realizes the situation is worse than anyone imagined. Christian Bale's villain is no longer hiding in shadows. Entire systems are now falling under his control. Massive alien warships appear above planets while terrified civilians try to escape. The trailer shows quick, emotional moments of families leaving their homes, soldiers preparing for hopeless battles, and worlds burning under endless attacks. Theron's commander knows she needs help, but trusting Lobo may destroy what little order still exists. One of her officers tells her, "He's not a hero." She answers with a cold expression, "I know. That's why he might win." The trailer then gives us the first real meeting between Lobo and Bale's villain, and the contrast between them is perfect. Lobo is loud, reckless, and impossible to control. Bale's character is calm, patient, and completely focused. They stand face to face inside a massive chamber powered by a glowing cosmic core. The villain offers Lobo a place at his side, claiming that together they could rule what remains of the universe. For a brief second, the trailer makes it seem like Lobo is actually considering the offer. Then he bursts out laughing directly in the villain's face. The room instantly erupts into chaos. What follows is one of the biggest action sequences in the concept trailer. Lobo escapes while armies chase him through collapsing hallways and exploding towers. Giant ships crash into each other above the planet while laser fire lights up the sky. Charlize Theron's forces finally arrive, leading to a full-scale war between both sides. The trailer keeps moving quickly, showing massive battles across space, hand-to-hand combat in zero gravity, and entire fleets being destroyed within seconds. But in the middle of all the destruction, Lobo still acts completely fearless. One quick scene even shows him using an enemy soldier as a shield while casually insulting everyone around him. The emotional side of the story also starts becoming clearer. Under all the violence and jokes, the trailer hints that Lobo may actually care about saving the galaxy, even if he refuses to admit it. During one quiet moment, he sees survivors trapped beneath falling debris and chooses to help them instead of chasing the bounty. It's a small scene, but it changes the tone. Charlize Theron's commander notices it too. For the first time, she begins to see that beneath the madness, there might still be something human left inside the universe's most dangerous outlaw. As the music builds again, the trailer races toward its final act. Bale's villain activates an ancient weapon powerful enough to destroy entire star systems. Red energy tears through space while planets begin collapsing one after another. Soldiers panic. Fleets retreat. Even Theron's army starts losing hope. But Lobo looks up at the destruction with a grin on his face and says one simple line, "Now this looks fun." The final act of the trailer turns into complete cosmic warfare. Massive fleets fill the sky while entire planets shake from explosions powerful enough to split moons apart. Red warning lights flash across every ship as Charlize Theron's commander prepares her last attack against Christian Bale's growing empire. Her soldiers know the mission is almost impossible. Enemy warships now surround the galaxy's main defense line, and the ancient weapon activated by Bale's villain is becoming stronger every second. One officer quietly says, "If that thing fires again, everything ends. But before fear can take over, a loud engine roars across space. Lobo arrives riding straight through a battlefield while enemy ships explode around him. The music becomes louder and faster as the trailer throws us into non-stop action. Lobo launches himself onto a giant enemy cruiser and crashes through rows of robotic soldiers like a living wrecking ball. He fires massive guns without even aiming, punches through armored walls, and keeps laughing while alarms scream everywhere around him. One quick shot shows him jumping from one exploding ship to another while debris rains through space. Another scene shows him fighting in zero gravity with chains wrapped around enemy soldiers as stars burn in the background. The trailer makes him feel unstoppable, like chaos itself has taken physical form. At the same time, Charlize Theron leads her fleet into a desperate final push. Unlike Lobo's wild fighting style, her scenes feel focused and emotional. She knows thousands of lives depend on this battle. Her command center shakes from explosions while damaged ships disappear from radar one after another. Even with everything collapsing around her, she refuses to retreat. The trailer briefly shows her watching civilians escape through emergency transport gates while she stays behind to continue the fight. It adds emotional weight to the story and reminds the audience that this war is bigger than revenge or money. The entire galaxy is fighting for survival. Then the trailer finally reveals the true scale of Christian Bale's villain. Standing inside a giant cosmic temple connected to the ancient weapon, he controls energy powerful enough to destroy star systems. The visuals become darker and more intense. Entire stars begin collapsing while shockwaves spread across space. Bale's calm voice returns as he says the universe must be reborn through destruction. Unlike many loud comic book villains, his character feels cold and controlled, which makes him even more dangerous. One terrifying scene shows him stopping explosions in midair with pure cosmic power before crushing enemy ships like they are nothing. The trailer then cuts to the biggest moment yet, the final duel between Lobo and Bale's villain. They crash into each other inside the collapsing temple while energy storms tear the structure apart. Every hit feels massive. Lobo uses pure strength and aggression while the villain attacks with dark cosmic power. The fight moves through falling towers, broken bridges, and giant chambers exploding from within. At one point, Lobo gets thrown through several walls and lands covered in blood and debris. For the first time in the trailer, he actually looks exhausted. Bale's villain slowly walks toward him and says, "You cannot stop the future." For a brief moment, everything goes silent. Then Lobo starts laughing again. That laugh changes the entire mood of the scene. Instead of fear, he looks excited. He stands up, wipes blood from his face, and charges forward one last time while the music explodes into full heavy metal chaos. The trailer rapidly cuts between giant fleet battles, collapsing stars, Charlize Theron giving final commands, and Lobo fighting through endless destruction. Explosions consume entire warships. Black holes begin forming across space. Worlds crack apart. Yet somehow, Lobo keeps moving forward through all of it like the universe itself cannot kill him. As the trailer reaches its ending, the cosmic weapon finally overloads. Bright energy tears through the sky while everyone tries to escape before the entire system collapses. Theron's fleet jumps to safety at the last second. Bale's villain disappears inside the explosion, and Lobo is nowhere to be seen. For a few quiet seconds, the screen goes dark. The galaxy believes the main man is finally dead. Silence fills the screen after the massive explosion. No music, no battles, no voices, just drifting pieces of destroyed ships floating through space. The war is over, but the galaxy looks completely broken. Charlize Theron's commander stands inside her damaged flagship, staring out at the ruins left behind. Entire worlds are gone. Fleets have been destroyed. Millions barely escaped alive. One soldier quietly asks her if Lobo survived. She doesn't answer right away. The camera slowly moves across her face before she finally says, "Nobody could survive that." For the first time in the trailer, everything feels calm. But that peace doesn't last long. Far away from the battlefield, a dark figure crashes onto a lonely desert planet. Smoke rises from a giant crater. The camera slowly pushes forward until we finally see a hand burst out from the dirt. Seconds later, Lobo climbs out of the crater laughing like nothing happened. His armor is destroyed, his face is covered in burns, and one of his weapons is barely hanging together, but he's alive. The trailer instantly reminds the audience why he's feared across the universe. No matter how impossible the odds become, the main man always survives. The final minutes of the concept trailer shift into sequel setup mode while still keeping the energy high. News spreads across surviving systems that Christian Bale's villain may not actually be dead. Strange signals begin appearing near abandoned star systems. Entire crews disappear without explanation. At the same time, bounty hunters across the galaxy receive a shocking new target on their screens: Lobo himself. A giant red bounty poster appears showing Jason Momoa's face while alarms flash around crowded alien cities. The reward attached to his name is now the largest in galactic history. The trailer quickly cuts between different hunters preparing to track him down. Massive armored warriors load futuristic weapons. Alien mercenaries gather in dangerous underground bars. Deadly ships launch into space from hidden stations. Every criminal in the galaxy now wants the same prize. But instead of running away, Lobo seems happier than ever. One funny moment shows him reading the bounty notice before smiling and saying, "Finally, somebody knows my value." That line perfectly captures the character's personality. Even when the entire universe wants him dead, he treats it like entertainment. The trailer also begins teasing bigger parts of the DC cosmic universe. One quick shot shows glowing green symbols floating through space, hinting at powerful intergalactic forces watching from a distance. Another scene reveals mysterious warriors standing near giant portals connecting different worlds. Fans would immediately recognize that the universe is much larger than just Lobo's story. The concept trailer smartly plants small hints without distracting from the main plot. It makes the world feel alive and full of future possibilities. Charlize Theron's commander also gets one final emotional scene. Even after everything that happened, she secretly keeps Lobo's survival hidden from the remaining governments. One of her officers asks why she would protect someone so dangerous. She answers, "Because one day, we may need him again." That moment changes how her character views Lobo. At the start of the trailer, she saw him as nothing more than a violent criminal. By the end, she understands that sometimes the galaxy needs someone willing to fight without fear, even if they break every rule along the way. The final scene delivers one last burst of pure Lobo chaos. Somewhere deep in space, a group of bounty hunters suddenly discovers a destroyed ship, drifting alone in darkness. They carefully enter the wreckage with weapons raised, expecting danger around every corner. The hallway lights flicker. Metal creaks in the distance. One hunter whispers, "Find him." Then the screen cuts to black for a split second before Lobo suddenly appears behind them with glowing red eyes and a huge grin. Heavy guitars slam back into the soundtrack as he says his final line, "The main man always comes back." The logo for Lobo, the main man, explodes onto the screen while engines roar in the background. One last quick shot shows Jason Momoa riding through deep space on his massive bike as stars burn around him. If DC ever makes a movie like this, it could become one of the most brutal, funniest, and craziest comic book adventures ever put on screen.